So we created one Windows programming. So for this, we have selected one template, file new project. We selected Windows Forms application. And here we given the name of the project is GUI app1. And once we click on OK, it will create the default form layout is like this. One empty form. That empty form is look like this. So if you want to design anything here, we have a toolbox, Control Alt X. So this toolbox has all the list of the controls to design these controls in this container. For this, we need to think about two things. One is properties. Yesterday we discussed, and the second one is events. Properties is nothing but a behavior of a form. You want to change height, width, or you want to change colors, and you want to apply any manipulations on this. There is no activity. The default look and feel of the form we can design by using property. So this will be only tells us the behavior. And events, the events are nothing but actions. The activity when the logic should work. When we move the mouse pointer, when leave the mouse pointer, or if you clicked on a button. Once we click on a button, button click. So which logic should work? That we define here. This is our first form. To make this form as like this, we need to change. Right click on it, property, or press F4. Right side this window will open. This window is called as property window. This property has two things. One is property and second one is event. Property will give the behavior. So this is a form. Till now we are not designed anything, only button we placed. So two it is showing here. One is form and the second one is button. Once we selected the form, we need to change the form background color. So here we have set the property. The form background color should be looks like this. And we need to change button styles. Select the button, property. The button background color is a different color. So here we need to do some activity on this particular button. Double click on a button, so button click will work. So once we clicked on the button, the logic will execute whenever button is clicked. If you want to execute the logic, whenever we double click on a form load. So whenever form is loaded, we need to show the logic. So here we have done right click on this property. Here we can observe that what are the bold color properties. Default name and the font, this text size will come. All the rest of the colors you can observe. These are all normal letters and especially this bold characters. So that means what properties we modified, we can understand easily. Couple of properties will automatically come whenever we selected the template or we added the control. But few properties will be modified after the user is changed. So here we can observe the difference between this property and here. The background color is changes to active caption. So this is in a bold letters and this is normal characters. So that user is changed this property, we can understand easily. The same thing we can observe here is a text box. Now see 4 color. Letters colors is blue And this is border style. We changed the border also, fixed single. And the remaining all are normal letters. We are not changed anything. Now we can select button. The button text is default button is display button 1, 2, 3 and all. Now it is changes to submit. So like that, if I created or somebody created, you want to continue with this form. Maybe you are enhancing the form or you want to add new functionalities, modify the existing things. You just observe the properties are bold letters. And here the text property we given email ID and default text boxes 1, 2, 3 we should not use in a programming. Always we have to use text for email ID. And this is the text box for password. So by default it will automatically hidden here in the right hand side. We just click on here and select the auto hide symbol. The properties will always looks like here only. Maybe it is completely closed. You want to retrieve back. Go to view menu. Which one you want to see? Solution Explorer. Use second time onwards shortcuts. Control Alt L. And this is the toolbox. Control Alt X. And we need to see the properties. That is F4. So here other windows property F4. Once we select this option, automatically the window will open automatically to right hand side. So now double click on a button. Yesterday we are not created any database tables, nothing. Just we checked the if conditions here. This is the logic will executes whenever we clicked on a button. So once we clicked on a button click, text box name is test@gmail.com and the password is test123. Then open another form. If these two values are getting false, display an error message as email ID is invalid. That is one functionality. So this is one event. Button is clicked, this will come. Along with that, we need to apply some behaviors for text boxes. 1, 2. First text box, second text box. Mouse is moving on that, mouse over. Mouse leave from the text box, mouse leave. So default events are different and explicitly we need to select the events are different. If we double click on text box, it will generate automatically text changed event. But what event we need? We need mouse over and mouse leave. So right click, property, here events, there we just select the event name, double click on it. Then it will recognize, means it will identify this event. And we need to write the code inside of this particular event. So we change some border. Whenever mouse is moving, different type of border style. And whenever mouse is leaving, no borders, nothing. So this we have done. And one more thing, how to call one form in another form. This is first form. And this is a form. While we are adding, we given the name as welcome. So this is a welcome form. Whoever the user is logged in here, we need to show their email ID in this welcome form. So that we kept one label for the mail ID. This is the label, welcome so on. So how to apply the text from first form to second form. So first form we are typing, double click on a button. Once we are moving from this form to that form, the data will not going to carry by default. So what we have done, one is we added one class. Add one class here. The class is having only logic. It's not having any design. So this is going to apply the class. See, Whenever you open a toolbox, nothing design should come here because this is a class. Only you can write properties, variables, methods, and all. You can write only code. You cannot design anything. That's why toolbox is empty. But whenever mouse is, you can select this form and the toolbox has all the list of controls. Means it is a capability to add the controls over here. And double click on a form, this is logic. Once we can go to this, again it will not come. That means here we have to write only code. So now here, what we have done, we have a class, that name of the class file we given as CLS users details. And we created one static variable because we just substitute the mail ID and the same mail ID will be going to assign to second form. It is only the exchanging the mail ID. That's why directly the class name dot variable name we should use. We don't want any memory. We are not doing any calculations over here. So now what we have to do, go to this form, double click on a button. Where is your class file? The class file name is CLS users details. We have written email ID there. Now the text box value assigned to variable. So earlier it is empty, but once it is valid, now that valid mail ID is assigned to class file. And whatever the form we are seeing now, that form should be hide. And we need to open the next form. So what is the form name? Welcome. Create an object, create the memory, call the constructor. That means wherever this form is available, point this name, create the memory for all the form has many controls. So initialize all the controls and show the form. So form object name dot show. So once we have called this instance, then the second form will going to display. And now here in this particular form, we assign the data. So now in the second form, we need to retrieve the data. For this, what we have done, just to simply take a label, double click on a form. So what is the form name? Welcome. Welcome underscore load. Means whenever my form is loading, show me this data. So what is that? The class file has email ID. That mail ID we are assigning to label. So what is the label name we changed? The label name, not 1, 2, 3 and all. In a property, we changed this name as LBL email ID. So whenever form is loaded, LBL email ID dot text equal to welcome, and the CLS users details dot this text. Okay, so this is, so that mail ID will assign to this particular label. Okay, so this we have done yesterday. And one more thing, debugging. How we know how this logic will work? Double click on a button. Here, wherever you want the breakpoint, you just click on the margin area, or else your cursor is here, you just use F9 in a keyboard. One time you press, the breakpoint will come, and again if you will press, the breakpoint will remove. So this is just to start the execution. Press F5. So now here, email ID, password. So this mouse is moving, behavior is changing. Mouse is leaving, normal. So whenever the user is mouse is moving over the text box, then it will come. If you leave the text box, same. Now what we have to do? Email ID. So test@gmail.com, and this password test 1, 2, 3. Click on submit. So whenever we clicked on a button, now the button click will find. Now here the step-by-step activities, debugging, tools, F11, first line, and we need to monitor the values, text box name, text, right click, add watch. Whether my text box is taking the values or not, we need to identify. One is for email ID and the second one is for password. So highlight up to here and then apply AdWords. So yesterday, what are the watch values are there? It is remembering automatically. So we have compared the values, all this. So today we added this email ID and as well as password. Now, whether this is condition fail or pass, we don't know. Right click, add watch. So while you're adding watch, you have to highlight the meaningful part and then you can add it. So now text box mail ID is test@gmail.com and this value also test@gmail.com. Now we are comparing both the two. The condition becomes true. And this is from starting from here to here, highlight, right click, add watch. So now it is test 1 to 3, test 1 to 3. Now this becomes true. So both conditions are valid. So this is the value from here to here, right click, add watch. So now first condition true, second condition true. We are applying AND operator. Both the two conditions are valid, then true. Then only it will come inside. So now press F11, message box dot show. It is showing that your email ID is valid. So current form we don't want to show again. So we don't want to display this particular form. Hide this form, show me the next form. That is welcome. Now here, once we created the design in this welcome form, all the controls will be displayed here. Now, once we double click on this particular buttons and all, we didn't write any logic. Here, designer will create the code automatically. One drag and drop, it will create these many number of lines. See, one drag and drop a label, it will create these lines. And one drag and drop button, what is the ID, what is the name, and what is the size, location, everything. So now, whenever we created an object, here we are calling, it's automatically called the method called as initialize component. So where it is available? It is available under the designer. So F11. Once we press F11, automatically it will jumps to initialize component. Now this is the default power of partial classes. Okay. So partial class means one part of the required field validator, that is in ASP.NET. Here we can use condition statements and all. So here, this is the validations are applied in if conditions only. Okay, Vinay? And this is a designer. The designer will be going to initialize. Now, all these controls are, everything is okay, then only it will show the form. Otherwise, it will not going to show the form. So now, the default designer, then our form. So before going to show the form, while form is loading, it is checking what are the controls they placed, what type of code they have written that will be executed. Then it will display the form. So now welcome, whatever mail we are typing previously, the same mail ID is displayed here. Okay, so this is the thing yesterday we have done. Now what we have to do is, we are going to create one project oriented things. So I have explained Yesterday we have seen one of screens, that is project related screens. We need to implement these projects. One is a bookshop. I typed somewhere else. So basically, you have to think what type of ideas you have to implement. Say, for example, you are doing a business. You need a small software, like a simple bookshop. So for that, what you have to do? If you are a owner, you have to think what are the things are necessary for you. So I just given as collect the requirements of your ideas. What are the things you need to be implement, and then analyze it. Analyzing in the sense, one is for customer section. That is just simply we said that books. And the second one is publishers, where we are going to bring that particular books. We are making an order to them, please send .NET books or Java books, and so publishers details. You are a owner, so you need to know the stock details and all. What are the books are available and what are the books are almost all like over stock, one or two. Immediately we can make an order again, something like that. Apart from this, couple of functionalities like search and logins, registration, that is for admin. As a window application, no one will be going to come for login and all. Just only one small, tablet, PC or anything, just they can search whether the book is available. No need of manual interaction, and even we need to show all the list of the books to them also. So you just take 1 or 2 days time and think of it, but make a clear idea. Just here, I am giving a couple of idea like